Today I'm going to put my head directly into the beehive and talk about Strange World. Now, by this point I'm sure that most people are probably familiar with this film from Disney, even if you haven't seen it. It features the first openly gay character, and with that you can probably imagine why there is so much controversy surrounding this movie. Now, before I even get into it, I do want to give a couple of disclaimers. If you are looking for someone who is just going to bash the movie, then you are probably in the wrong place. What I want to do today is just break everything down and have an honest conversation. I want to discuss how I feel about all of this, but I'm also interested in hearing other people's perspectives. I will try to have an open mind when it comes to your viewpoints, as long as you are willing to have an open mind when it comes to mine. Now, one thing that I always try to do is understand other people's perspectives as far as I can, but I'm also having a little bit of a hard time with the criticism when it comes to this movie specifically, and that is why I wanted to talk about it. Now, at the end of the day, I do not care on what political side you are on. I want to make content for all people, but there are certain things where you just simply cannot be down the middle. I personally watch a lot of content creators that I can see is clearly on the right, and I have very strong disagreements with them, but I also still feel very welcomed within their community, even if I am on the other side. And I do hope that I can create that same community here where you can watch the content, disagree with my viewpoints, but ultimately still feel welcomed and not judged just because you simply happen to be on the other side. Now, with Strange World though, I do have very strong opinions, and I'm not going to shift that view, but I do hope to at least come out understanding the other side a little bit better, even if we are going to end up disagreeing on it. So with that, I am now going to get off the fence and just get into it. Now, Disney's Strange World is tanking in the box office, and it is set to lose millions. If you look at the criticism of the movie, there seems to be a very consistent theme: woke disaster. Now, this is where I am trying to understand what exactly makes a movie a woke disaster. I mean, I know the answer, but I will indulge just for a little bit. I hear the word woke thrown around a lot, and it seems to always be in connection with a female lead, a black lead, or a gay lead. Now, I always try to listen when people criticize something, and I also try my best not to throw any isms around, because it is a good way to just completely shut down a conversation. I've always told myself that the criticism has nothing to do with the female lead or the black lead or the gay lead, and more so just to do with the story. If you tell a good story, people will not care who the lead is. People consider it bad because the writing is bad, and then when you also push identity with it, people will just pull away. The problem with the show, for instance, isn't the fact that it has a black lead. It is because maybe they swapped the previous white character or male character with a different sex, and then on top of that they also wrote the story that is entirely based on the character's identity, and because of that people just tend to kind of move away because there is no focus on the actual story. For instance, we got this new movie coming out, so okay, what is the movie about? Well, we have a female lead. Okay, so what's the story about? She's also gay. Okay, so what's the story about? She's female and she's gay. So tell us about the story. Woman and female. So when your advertising centers around that, then obviously people are going to pull away because they are not focusing on the story. They are just focusing on the character's sexual orientation and who they sleep with. If you write a good story though, it shouldn't matter, and I'm of the viewpoint that representation is good. You are not going to die if you see a gay character or a black character on screen. Those groups of people exist, and having them on screen and fully represented is good. However, when you try and represent more groups of people and you tell a story, but the focus of how you push that story centers around the sexual orientation or race of your character instead of the actual story, then it can only lead to bad things, because then you just end up otherizing the people that you claim you want to represent. Just tell a good story and have whoever you want as the lead. If the character is gay and people ask, just tell them that gay people exist, it is okay for them to exist, it is normal, and just move on and tell the best story that you can. When there is a straight couple's love story, you don't focus on how straight they are, you just focus on the story. And when there is a gay love story, just focus on the love story instead of how gay they are. The problem with these companies pushing out these movies is that they don't care about these groups. They just care about what will make them money, and if they can push that front and center to make whatever money they can, they are going to do that, even if it ends up hurting those groups of people. They only care as long as it is profitable. Disney has a black stormtrooper in Star Wars. That is great because they care about representation. But wait, China doesn't like it, so what do? You completely shrink him down on the posters. It is all just performance. These companies do not care about the issues that we care about. They only care about how they can make profits out of it. Now, for me, at the end of the day, I don't care what their motives are if it means that more people are going to be represented. Now, that has been my viewpoint for a long time until I started reading the criticism around Strange World. It kind of makes me draw the conclusion that no matter how good a story is and no matter how much they focus on the project, some people will just always call it woke. Not because of the message, not because of the story, not because of how it is being advertised, but simply because they consider any type of gay representation woke. The criticism right now is that Disney is pushing a gay agenda, and what is that gay agenda, by the way? That gay people exist. I'm not exactly sure what you think is going to happen if you see two gay characters kiss on screen. Do you think that your child is going to turn gay if they see it? And do you also think that the opposite is going to happen? Do you think that a gay child that sees a straight couple kissing is going to turn straight? Because that's not how it works. Do you think your child is too young to see a gay love story, but they are not too young to see a straight love story? Why? Disney is filled with love stories. You can watch Tangled or Snow White or Shrek, and yes, I know some of them are DreamWorks, but the point still stands. And you can be okay with that, but the moment there is a gay character, then all of a sudden you lose your mind, call it woke, and say that your child is too young. You can watch Beauty and the Beast and watch the princess trying to bone a dog or a wolf or whatever that thing is, and say, you know what, that's a beautiful love story. But the moment the same story is being told with a gay couple, then all of a sudden your child is too young. Why? It's the same story. So what's the woke factor here? Being gay. You consider being gay not to be normal. You think that it is wrong, and that is why you have a problem with it. To chalk all of that just up to wokeness is disingenuous. You just don't like gay people, and if that is the case, then fair enough, but at least be honest about it. Don't be a coward and hide behind excuses. If you simply do not like it because of the story, then that is fair. If you think that it is intentionally graphic, then that is also fair. If you think that this movie is just bad, then that is fine. But if you think that it is a woke disaster, and the woke thing here is the fact that there is just a gay lead, then maybe there is a deeper conversation to be had.